Right, you're on.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cowabunga Ranger Talk. I'm Mascara, and with me, is always, is my partner in crime, BTV 83.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, we got a pretty fun one today. Also, one that I'm pretty sure has also wanted to do for a while as far as the topic goes. Today, we're going to be covering the first episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Day of the Dumpster.
Yeah, the
This
original
is
1993 show.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to be covering. That's the big topic today. Before we get into it, you got any news or any little topics you want to talk about or jump in?
Oh, only news I had was I got an email from McFarlane Toys, and they were doing a Hasbro uh, puncher with Transformers. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it's the Transformers Punchers series.
Oh, the page punchers. Yeah,
Yeah, page punchers.
yeah. I've seen some of them. I don't know how successful that line is because I've seen it at Walmart, but I've also seen it at like Dollar General. I've seen it at Five Below. I've seen it on clearance at like Dollar General and places like that. So I couldn't tell you if the line is successful or not. And their figures are pretty small, and it's
Yeah.
not like a collector line. It's sort of like a throw in, like a Happy Meal. Like the Happy Meal, you're paying for. It's very comparative to a Happy Meal because a Happy Meal, you're comparing it. You're buying, quote unquote, you're buying the burger and the soda and the fries, and you get a little toy extra. The page punches is kind of the same gimmick. You're buying the comic book and you're getting a little throw-in toy. So
Yes.
that's that. I don't know. Do you have any other page punches, or do you
I
care
do
for it, or
not.
not?
No, what I'm waiting for is to see what they're doing with the Power Ranger line. I am really curious about that. If they do a page puncher of Power Rangers, I will probably collect those because, yeah, it's cheesy, but they have a comic book. I wonder what the comic book line will be about. You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a valid point because uh, I think they're still with Boom, right? Boom Comics.
Yeah, Boom Comics still owns the Power Ranger license in that sense, yes. But
Uh,
again, it all has to do with Hasbro sending out permission to whatever, whatever.
yeah,
Again, we've talked about that several hundred times.
yeah. Since we're talking that specifically, it just came to me something else. I wonder if they'd re-release old issues because you remember the original 90 something comic was from Marvel, but it was like Marvel Image, and
Yes.
if McFarlane has some hand in it from the past, you know, he might be able to like re-release like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers #1 Page Puncher or something,
That would be interesting, and I would really go for that. Yeah.
because I really don't see him like getting the Boom Comics license away from them, you know.
Oh no, Boom Comics is kind of their own little series. I don't see them being able to do that. I would
Yeah,
see
there's
them doing their own little comic, or like you said, retro comic back. You know,
yeah.
that I can see.
Um,
So, any other news?
well, recently, like 2 days ago, um, Ninja Turtles Ultimates Wave 9 came out.
Okay,
I got the alert from Entertainment Earth. So Entertainment Earth has them. Maybe they run out by now, but
I
they
doubt
have,
it.
yeah, they have a Scumbug, the Basketball Donnie, Wingnut, the Furry Splinter, and Zack the Neutrino. I think that's the
Yeah.
wave. Yeah,
Every time you say Zach, the neutrino, I always think of Zach as the honorary Ninja Turtle.
yeah,
And I know they're two different characters, but it's what pops in my head first is the honorary Ninja Turtle. You remember that episode, right?
yeah, yeah. He
Yeah,
was around for like most of a season,
he
like a
he
season,
was, yeah.
and then he went away, and then he did like three more episodes, like 2 years later for some reason. It's like
Yep, yep.
that wasn't very consistent. Like the kid would get lost. I don't know, maybe because I think the storyline was like the kid was a runaway and the turtles found him or something, and he didn't have any
No,
friends or something like that.
I don't remember the exact story. I just remember
Yeah,
him getting captured by what was the guy named? Something Telly. the
Yeah,
crime boss that would always tickle everybody.
yeah,
Him and his like sister or something like that. Anyways,
yeah,
yeah, it'd be kind
yeah,
of cool to see him being released as a character because he had a lot of different things they could do with him too.
yeah. Uh, on another point of news, I sent you this earlier today. The the Amazon the 5 pack of the Alien Rangers
Yes,
is down to like $67. So it's down
it's
like 44 45%. It's
yeah, yes it is. That's very amazing though because I hear those ones alone. You said you had them, but those
yeah,
ones
yeah.
alone have like
It's
the
right here
best
in the
hit.
corner. You
Okay.
see right there in the corner, that's the post, that's the box. I cut out
Oh,
the
that's
box. Yeah,
okay.
but
No, I actually
that's the
only see
box.
a corner piece of it. I don't actually see the actual box,
Yeah.
but that's okay. Uh, but yeah, I hear that the paint job on those are beautiful. They're really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool and kind of like the last two things that are kind of the same. Uh just two movies recently I saw since we're talking a little bit of this and that. I saw that Lisa Frankenstein movie.
Yes, you were telling me about that.
It's pretty good. It's very Beetlejuice-ish. You know,
Okay.
it's very Tim Burton-y. So if you don't like Tim Burton, then don't worry about that. And yesterday I got to see the Madam Web movie.
Yeah, I was actually excited for that. How is that one? What would you give, without spoiling anything? What would you give the rating of it if you were gonna do a rating?
Well, I won't tell you what the spoil, but I'll just talk a little bit above it. So the girl, Dakota Johnson, she does
Hmm.
a really good job. The problem here is number one, the villain is boring. Sorry, but the villain is boring.
Okay.
They set up the plot and they set up the bad guy really early on in the movie, and I'm not gonna go into that part, but the character
Yeah.
alone, his motivations, the reason he wants to be evil, and all of this, it's very thin. Like like no, uh, the the Madam Web character, that's Dakota Johnson's character, uh, and she ends up like early on in the movie, sort of half adopting these three girls, these three teen girls.
Oh,
That
really?
yeah, that she's trying to protect them throughout the rest of the movie for the next hour and a half or so, and I'll say that for that, but there's really no plot. There's a lot of like scene stretching and like the dialogue isn't the worst because I've seen other people review that movie and say just how bad the dialogue is. The dialogue isn't terrible, but
Okay.
there's just no story there. Honestly, like the story you see it the first 5 minutes and then the last 2 minutes wraps it up, but it doesn't even need it. You know, I'm not gonna go into what, but you know what I mean. It's like there's really this movie could have been 20 minutes. It did not need to be like close to 2 hours. Not at all. The girl tries though. The lead character, like she's obviously this is her big debut. She's on the poster. She's doing this and that. So she's trying, and
That's good.
but as far as the rest of it's somebody trying around a lot of the bad stuff, if you will, because I try not to curse so much. But
Yeah.
like a lot of the story around it, you're gonna start nitpicking and hey, look, this is wrong, this is wrong, and they have this thing too. They don't want to say Spider-Man, but they constantly hint at Spider-Man, and like they don't want to say Spider-Man because I think Spider-Man is directly just Sony, and because
Yeah.
this is a collaboration of Spider-Man and Madam Web
Hmm.
and whatever. So they kind of play with that, but that's basically what I got for that movie. That movie, it's not. One of the problems is too, besides the pacing and the other characters are not very interesting. The three girls that she's supposed to be saving, they're supposed to be your MacGuffin, right? The thing you're protecting from the bad guy,
Yeah.
the three girls. They're not really interesting. And during the movie, Dakota Johnson her character keeps looking for any excuse to like drop him off. Like she leaves him with the guy from Parks and Rec. I forgot
Hmm.
what his name is. You know who I'm talking about? Adam
Yeah.
something. Yeah, she leaves it with him for a while. She leaves the three girls in the jungle. She leaves them in a bar. She leaves them and like she's constantly like just basically being an Uber driver. Here's the girls. Here's the girls. Here's the girls. Leave them
Right?
there. As she keeps going off on her own thing, it's like I can't take the girls with me. Then how much danger can they possibly be in? you know, it really
Well,
breaks it. You know,
yeah, yes.
so there's that. But
All
that's
right.
basically what I got. And today we're gonna be talking right here about Power
Yes.
Rangers episode 1. Got my little cheat sheet here, so let's get into it. The episode
This,
starts with with the
yeah.
introduction.
This is the
You
Super
know,
7 guy right here.
yeah,
Yeah. I just did the
uh,
review today, so it's not
yeah.
up there yet. It's not up there, but it will be soon. I have a lot more stuff to do to it, but
How does
yeah,
he
I thought
move?
it'd be kind of cool.
Does he move good? Like, is he
Oh
well
yeah, he moves.
articulated?
Everything's articulated. I will say this, and this is something I say in the review. The two arm set. This is the second set of arms that he comes with, and then
Yeah,
his main arms. This set of arms is actually from Wave One. They're just a repaint from the Green Ranger. There's no articulation here. Now on the actual Black Ranger arms, there's articulation. So Super Seven did make more articulation with these guys, but one thing Super Seven did that most Hasbro Power Rangers don't have is the black on the bottom, and this is on all the Power Rangers. And that's something that
yeah,
people would always complain about. Hasbro never had the black, never had the black. It's like, to me, it didn't really matter, but they actually did the whole
yeah,
boot itself, and it's cool. But yeah, the articulation on this guy is, you know, pretty good. I mean, I like it. You can have him in almost any position you want with him. Besides these arms are a little bit tight, a little bit more, but yeah, it's when you get the actual other arms on it, he's good. Look, again, big Super 7 fan here. A little more expensive than Hasbro, but they do a good job. And again, we were talking about Entertainment Earth a second ago. I get these from Entertainment Earth, and if there's a problem, the return policy is really easy. They pay for the return. They give you a whole new one for free, no problem. Just takes a little bit of time, just like any other company. But
yeah.
they make sure you get one, no matter what. So, um, yeah. So you have your little guy. I have my collection over there, but I thought it'd be cool to show this guy off since, he's the newest one out of my collection. And something about this battle axe is really cool too. It actually does the whole battle
Yeah.
axe. Yeah, so you can actually connect all the Super 7 weapons together and make the big power weapon. Yeah.
How's the bow? Because that's what kind of holds all of the other pieces together. So if that's
Okay,
shit, then
so
I mean,
I
I try
have
not to
not
question if that's bad.
examined. I have not truly examined the bow yet because it actually comes with three different bows. Yeah, it comes with three. One's
Three
the
arrows, yeah.
Kimberly. Yeah, so it comes with one for Kimberly because there was a Kimberly version of the bow, and then there was the cat version because there were two different bows, and then you got the Bandai bow. So you got three different bows for that series.
Hmm.
So, but I haven't actually looked at them. That's my next video is going to be to combine all these weapons and show off all the Super 7, Wave 1 through 3. That's going to come later because life gets in my way a lot. So,
You and me both, brother.
yeah. So anyway, let's get into the
Yeah,
talk. You
yeah.
got
So
you got the subjects, and we'll
yeah,
just go one by one, and we'll talk about each one.
yeah. Okay, so we opened the episode with the introduction, the big guitar riff, the dun, 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 dun,
Right?
dun, and you hear that "Go Go Power Rangers" for the first time,
Yeah.
and man, that alone,
Yeah.
you talk about a hook. I mean, if you got a theme song that could rock that hard, you're gonna look at the show. A lot of
Exactly.
that, I mean, that's what I got for that. I mean, it's that
Yeah.
theme
No,
song.
that theme song is iconic, and it doesn't matter where you hear the dun dun dun. Dun, you know what's coming next. You know that high end guitar riff that
Yeah,
is coming,
yeah.
uh, and you know what that is. If you heard it pop up on Pandora, it's actually popped up on Amazon Music. All of a sudden, I don't know. I'm just like, oh, I know what this is. I have like three bars, but it starts. It's like, oh, I know exactly what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after the intro, we have the first scene, which is the some astronauts, which is all Sentai footage, but it's the
Oh yeah, of
Sentais
course.
that find the dumpster, and they try to open it and they release Rita and her monsters, Goldar,
Mm-hmm.
Finster, Squad, and Babu. Then they pretty much scare them off, and we move on to the next scene, which is the teens at the juice bar. They're, kind of playing. They're practicing their karate moves and things like that. And Billy
Yeah, the
comes in.
karate gymnastics. Yeah.
Yeah, Billy comes in and he's taking his first class for karate from Jason,
Mm-hmm.
and Bulk and Skull come in and they try to like mess with him and stuff, and
Yeah, they asked
yeah,
Kimberly and Trini out on a date.
yeah.
Yeah,
Bro,
that was good.
when Kim and Trini say no, Buck and Skull, they like lunge at him. They're like,
Well,
"Bitch, I'll kill you!" It's
I,
like,
I loved it when they said no because Skull's like, oh, okay, and Bulk's like, no, you get back. We don't say no. They have to
yeah.
say yes. Yeah,
I
that
just
was
like
great.
how angry it was, especially for '93, because '93
Right.
was like, "Come here."
Well, let's. I'm gonna actually bring you back even farther. The pilot episode, uh, in that one when they're in the bowling alley,
Oh
Bulk
yeah,
and
that's
Skull
that's
is
the unaired
switched.
one.
Bulk and Skull is switched. Skull's the. I'm sorry about cursing. Is the badass, and Bulk is kind of that timid guy, and they switched it in the main show. And I thought that was interesting to see. But let's get back to the show. Just a
Yeah,
little side note.
yeah. Then we get the next scene, which is Rita setting up on the moon, and she tells Finster, "Hey, start making some parties. Everybody start cleaning up. We're gonna take over the world." After that, we cut to back to the juice bar where Billy and Jason are practicing, and
Mm-hmm.
then after their first lesson, because Jason gives them a lesson on some karate and a couple of things. There's another scene right after at the juice bar where all of a sudden the earth starts shaking and there's an earthquake and everybody's scared. Bulk gets uh, a smoothie thrown in his face for some reason, and Bulk didn't do anything in this scene, but they just
Oh, this
did.
movie was because of the earthquake that Rita is
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
doing, and what's the guy? Ernie. Ernie spills the whole
yeah,
tray on him. Yeah.
yeah. Then we cut to Zordon for the first time ever, and he tells Alpha to summon, five teenagers with attitude, and
Mm-hmm.
Alpha does and teleports them to the command center. Uh,
Yes.
this leads to the teens meeting Zordon for the first time, and this is
Mm-hmm.
very, very, very cool because this is like, wow, this is Alpha. Look at the set. Look, what's this? And they basically get familiarized with each other, and Zordon tells them, hey, look, I've chosen you all to be, the saviors of the universe. Basically, I need you guys to
Yeah.
become the Power Rangers. He tells them, Jason, you're going to be the Red Ranger. Billy, you're going to be the Blue Ranger, and so on and so forth. This is very critical for the series in general because from here is the template that other mentors and things like that have done in the past 30 years. So seeing this for the first time, the first execution of this specific process is really cool. Uh, that
Yes.
being that being said, I'm gonna read to you a line. Okay,
Okay.
I literally read this line on script. So Zordon introduces himself saying he's an intergalactic being caught in a time warp. So
Yes.
he's not actually in the damn tube, which is something I said. He's stuck in the time loop. No, no, this is episode. This is the beginning. There's no more.
I
This
know.
is
I got you. I got you. I know.
this
I thought it
because
was. I heard the same thing yesterday when I watched the show again.
this is literally the line. Okay, uh, so there's that. He never died. I don't know what space stuff we try to lie to ourselves about that Zordon sacrificed himself. He did not.
No.
He's a dude caught in a time warp basically, and what
Yes.
we're seeing is a mirror and a tube. Okay, from the episode specific, not just memory or anything.
There's got to be an episode later on that says something or another because
Yeah, they start
yeah, there's
fudging
got to
with
be
it.
something. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they fudge with it because there's a character that's similar to him in the Sentai.
Mm-hmm.
That's the mentor, and they use
Yes.
background footage of Zordon. Oh, when I was on my planet, and Zordon's a guy with like I hate to even say it, but he's basically dressed up in this
He's
big
an
white.
he's like an elf.
He's dressed.
The guy from Sentai is basically an elf creature.
Yeah,
There's
he's.
a few of them on the planet Earth.
Uh, I hate to even compare it because I'm not comparing it religiously. I'm just the look. He looks like a pre. He looks like a pope or something. He looks like a priest or a pope. He's got the big hat. He's
Yeah.
got the white robe. He's
Well,
got the whole gimmick. You know.
let me do a Sentai thing for you since I'm a big fan of Sentai, especially a Jew Ranger. Basically, the Jew Rangers will put you to sleep for 10,000 years as Rita was captured, and when Rita was released, the Zordon of their era, of their series, re-released them to fight Rita. So the chosen ones were from like medieval dinosaur age time
Yeah.
where Rita was at too. And then they were all put to sleep when Rita was done. And then they all got woken up after Rita was released again. Uh, it's more of an adult storyline than Power Rangers is, but you know, we're Americans and we can't handle adult storylines when we're kids.
Well, the
um,
world was different in '93.
exactly. Today, kids are a lot different. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Getting back to the episode, then Zordon says, if you put your powers together, you can form the mighty Megazord. Now, I
hmm
wanted to bring this point up before we move on. The Dino Megazord that we call it, or some people just call it Megazord. If he's
yes,
calling it for the first time, the proper name for this guy up here should be Mighty Megazord. Then, period.
yeah,
We
it
we
should
call
be
him
for
Dino Megazord, not Megazord or whatever. He called it the Mighty
yeah,
Megazord
the Mighty
in
Megazord. Yeah,
epi-
that's right.
in episode one. This is not to start anything, but it is literally like we're as basic as you get because we're right at the beginning of the series. So I did want to point that out. Then he says, "May the power protect you for the first time."
hmm
Like go with the force and things like that. Very
Yeah,
iconic. After that, we move on to the teens leaving, and Rita says, send down some putties to fight them. And they have their first fight ever, the civilian teens fighting the putties.
yes.
What did you think of that first fight scene? Because it's not a fight scene, but it's a fight scene at the same time.
I think it was a little weak. I mean, I know it's the
Yeah,
first episode, but okay, so the first episode they couldn't even destroy one putty as the humans, and then they morph, and after they
yeah,
morph, they all of a sudden all knew karate, all of them, even Billy. All of a sudden, the Billy that couldn't fight 2 minutes ago before teleporting, all of a sudden knows how to do all the martial arts, no
yeah,
problem. I thought it was a again as let me go back to being a kid. It was awesome. You know, I didn't understand karate back then. I didn't understand. Okay, well, Billy couldn't do it, and then he could do it. But today or last night watching it again for the first time in years, um, it was kind of cheesy. You know, I mean, I love the idea. You know, you more if you get superhuman powers and all that, but you still have your human ability as a Power Ranger. Like Zach could still do his dancing later on in the show. You know, his what do they call it? The breakdancing, ninjutsu. I can't remember
hip
what.
hop keto thing.
Hip hop keto. That's
Keto.
right. You know, and Trini had her kung fu stuff, and Kimberly had her gymnastics. But all of a sudden, Billy, the geek that couldn't even fight, could just fight out of nowhere. You know, had all the right moves. Overall, as a show, it was great. As a superhero show, great. But when I broke it down last night, I'm just going, well, that was interesting. This all of a sudden they all have these abilities to hit a putty very hard and destroy him. But 2 minutes ago they had no idea how to fight these things. Even though Jason is a supposedly a black belt in karate, he couldn't even handle one putty. I find that weird. I would have preferred at least him being able to defeat one putty outside of the Power Ranger suit, and maybe get
Okay.
ambushed by three or four. That would have made more sense. But again, this is the adult side looking at it now, and not as a kid going,
Yeah.
"Oh, they have to use the powers to destroy something." I mean, that's the difference, you know.
Yeah.
But back then, as a kid, I thought it was amazing. You know, great job. Saban did a good job on that.
Yeah. Actually, well, I have conflicting opinions on this, or multiple opinions, I guess, if you will,
Okay.
because like you said, like when you're a kid, you see it as just fun. Hey, look, it's fun.
Exactly.
They're morphing, they're fighting the puppies. Now, as an adult and also a series creator, because I'm the series creator for Mascara Fighters and
Hmm.
Guideline series and so on and so forth, I see why they did this scene. This scene is very important because it sets up the the imminent threat of the putties, because the putties are your constant threat.
Yes.
You're constantly going to be beating up the putties, just like the Ninja Turtles are constantly beating up the foot soldiers. The For my series, for Mascara Fighters, the Mascara Fighters are always, destroying and beating up the metal droids and things like that, which are the henchmen of Fatal Evolution that are the bad guys. Just for FYI, but like I get why it gives you a reason to force them to morph, because if the like you're saying, and this is now goes into the creative side of writing and things like that, if your Power Rangers as civilians are good enough to kick the crap out of the bad guys, they don't need to morph. They don't need to call the Zords. They don't need to, like you're saying about Jason, knowing karate and all this. If Jason could do all of this, he doesn't need the other Rangers. Honestly, if he's fast enough, he can, to grab one of the putties and slam it into the other putties. And since they're all made out of clay, just turn it into rock effects and be done with it. If you wanted to use common sense logic, you know what I mean? But it's important for setting up threats, just like
Well, yeah, I get
you know
it because
for setup. It's
yeah,
setup thing.
it's a setup. Because
Yeah,
later on in the show, they just fight him and hand in hand, and they defeat him, and then all of a sudden the big monster comes down, and that's later on in the show. But
yeah, because
uh,
that gets more
yeah,
formulaic. That
exactly.
that means doing the same thing over and over for every single episode and things.
Yeah.
But yeah, then they morph for the first time, which is freaking awesome, and then they teleport to Angel Grove, and these lines are actually from the show. Okay,
Okay.
Billy says we're teleporting. Kim says where are we going, and then Jason. Oh my god, he fucking nails this line. I'm sorry to curse, but he nails this line. We're gonna go save the world. Oh my god, when he
There
said
it
that
is.
freaking line, bro. When
They,
he
they
said
they
that
had to
line,
they had to
that
use
was
it
it.
though. They had to use it. Come on. They
He
had to.
nailed it. Yeah.
Hmm.
He Then they teleport, and a little side point, okay, before we move on to the next point, a little side thing. It's kind of weird that they're fighting the putties as humans right outside of the command center, right?
Yes.
And then they teleport and then they go fight Goldar somewhere else. There's still putties outside the command center.
Yes. Yes, there is.
They never destroyed those putties. you know?
But it's okay though because the command center has a force field that only people with the power coins can get in. If you remember that, so it's okay.
Yeah, I guess. Uh, but man, that jump off to more for the first time. You see them Tyrannosaurus, Mastodon, Pterodactyls, Triceratops, saber-tooth
Hmm.
tiger. The first time you see that, and it's the simplest effect of just going and but still it hits. It hits. And it's also a testament. Like I appreciate it so much more now, this episode specifically, because as a show writer, I think to myself, this is what you do when you want to make a hit.
Yes.
This is the foundation. This is literally the foundation of 30 years. If this didn't work, we didn't have 30 years.
Exactly.
So the impact of what a solid pilot episode can be. Uh,
Yeah.
getting getting back to the episode, then we move on to the next scene, which is the Rangers fighting Goldar and the putties on a rooftop, which is all Sentai. It is all
Oh yeah.
Sentai.
This whole episode is just
Yeah,
Sentai
but
footage. I can't even say
yeah,
it's 100% correct footage for episode to episode, but it's 100% Sentai at this point.
yeah. Then it's sort of a weird cut. Maybe you saw. I saw it on Netflix. Where did you see it?
YouTube.
Oh,
You
okay.
can watch.
Maybe
You
there was
can
a.
watch. You can watch the whole. Okay, guys. So if you don't know, I'm not gonna tell you how to find it because I don't want to take it down. Because as a Power Ranger fan, I want the Power Ranger show to stay up there.
No,
But
it's fine.
you can find every Power Ranger episode on YouTube in one place. Plus I made the mistake yesterday to watch the 2010. I was dead tired. I just typed in episode 1 and the whole list came up, I just said, okay, episode one's in. I was like, wait, what is this? It was the first time I actually saw the 2010 cut of it. I'm just like, oh, I know what this is. you know, seeing the
Yeah.
Batman as we talked about, like the Batman stuff, the freeze frame, and it was interesting. I will say the opening where they open the dumpster and she says, "I'm gonna take over the closest planet." Shows Earth, and it shows Goldar, Scott Baboon, and Finster, and they have pictures of them listed on what the characters are, and then they show uh, Rita. I think it said Rita the Rich or something like that. But yeah, it was interesting the way they did. I kind of liked how they introduced them that way.
Hmm.
Showing the characters immediately because I don't think in the episode they really named off every character. I could be wrong. I know they didn't say anything about Squad and Bamboo. They said Finster and Goldar for sure in episode one. But
Okay.
yeah, the 2010 guys, I would not suggest watching. That was my mistake. I was like, we were playing this episode. I was like, I'll watch it. I was like, you know what? I'm tired. I worked 12 hours yesterday. I was like, it's good enough for me. It's just a good memory refresher, you know.
Yeah. No, I was saying it because I saw it on Netflix. But the upload on Netflix, because I have the Netflix subscription, it looked so grainy, and I don't remember it being that grainy. I mean,
You might
I'm
want to
watching
watch.
it, you know.
You might want to watch it on YouTube then, because YouTube you can change the resolution. I didn't have to, but it didn't look grainy on YouTube. It looked crisp.
Yeah, I saw it on my iPad, so I was like, why is this still looking so grainy? But
That's
anyways,
not.
yeah. So they're fighting on the rooftop, and all of a sudden Rita says, make Goldar grow, and she throws the staff for the first
No,
time, and
yeah,
you get the floor effect with the rock opening up, and then Goldar, brah, he's a giant.
exactly.
Yeah, and the Rangers do their little roll call. We're the Power Rangers. We're here to save the day. Da, 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 da. And then they call the Dinosaurs for the first time, and that is fucking. Sorry to curse, but
It's
that is
okay.
freaking. That's freaking awesome. Oh my god, the first time as a kid when you see that, because this show was so revolutionary for what it was.
Yeah, yes
Today,
it was.
today, today, it's very hard to capture magic like that. But man, when you saw the rock opening up and you see the Tyrannosaurus coming out, rah, and you hear the pterodactyl coming out of the lava, and
Yeah,
you hear
the
the freaking
screech.
yeah. Oh my god,
Yeah.
the practical effects were so amazing. The freaking the saber tooth tiger, the animatronics that you see him running in the jungle, and
Have you
you see the whole
on
thing so beautiful,
on
so beautiful.
YouTube? You should look this up on YouTube. Look, I think it's called Behind the Scenes, and you actually see the Megazord and how they did it, how they actually made the Megazord piece. The
Yeah,
Tyrannosaurus and all that running and all that on the treadmill.
yeah,
It looks amazing. I mean, you don't get all the special effects, but you actually see the creatures on the treadmill running, and it's like even that itself looks cool. And you get to see the guy in the Megazord suit take the helmet off, the big Megazord head off, because he's trying to breathe a little bit. He puts it back on, and he shows the White Tigers all do the same thing. The behind the scenes is really cool to see. I mean, again, it's all done in Japan. It's all the Sentai stuff, but it's still what they show in the American version. So
yeah. And then they formed the Megazord in tank form.
yes,
Megazord CS
yeah.
has been. I think they put and then they're this in this freaking tank, and they're fighting with Goldar in the tank, and Goldar he just like slashes, and then they're like, the hell with it, Megazord battle mode, and then Jason like hits the big thing that looks like a lollipop. He pulls it off. Then you see the three
Oh
coins form, and the Megazord goes from tank to actual fighting mode. Oh my
yeah.
god, bro! When they did that, when I was a kid and I saw it, I was like, oh my god, these people got me for life. Fuck. you know?
And that's the thing. I mean, seriously, because before Power Rangers, there was Transformers, and if you want to take let's go to Power Ranger. There was Voltron in America before Power Rangers, and Voltron was pretty much the same as Power Rangers, but for a different generation. You
Yeah.
know, and so you got robots, and and it's a good
Mazinger and
mix.
things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that freaking the first time Jason says, "The hell with it, we're gonna stand up the Megazord," and the Megazord stands up, and then the pterodactyl flies, closes its arms, and it's becomes the chest, and like and then they do a little flash cut. Megazord sequence activated, and
Exactly.
he is the Megazord, and then you cut to a guy in a suit, but still that sequence was so well done,
The clothes are on my bed.
and
Hmm. It's okay. Go ahead. Keep
yeah,
talking. Yeah.
yeah, and man, that was awesome.
It
Also,
was.
uh, for the special that they did last year, the Once and Always,
Hmm.
they recreated all of this stuff. They did such a good job until they went into cutting it into space.
You
That looked
know,
terrible.
I didn't like the CGI look of it. I really did
I
not.
didn't like when they put it together, but before they put the Zords together, I thought that was awesome. They did such a once they became the Megazord, the mighty Megazord, then
Hmm.
they looked like garbage. The, those
Yeah,
long legs and but
yeah.
before,
I don't know what they were thinking with that. I mean,
uh,
they could have done all sorts of cool things. I mean, CGI has been around forever, and I just thought it was a waste of footage.
yeah,
Um, yeah, the them coming out of the volcano and all that. I thought that was great, like you said. But as soon as they went to Megazord fighting, it was so disappointing. I was so disappointed with it. I was like, I'd rather just see him back in the human suit fighting.
it was
I'm sorry,
quick
but
too.
it was
It
just
was
ugly
quick.
looking.
But that fight sequence in Once and Always was pretty quick.
It
And then,
was.
considering you've been waiting for this reunion for about 30 years, you figure you could give them at least a 2-minute fight scene, bro. Like, that
And
was
to make it
pretty
worse,
quick.
it was only Billy and uh,
Ming,
Min. There we
Charlie
go.
Kirk,
Yeah,
yeah.
in the Zord, because also now they can control it with just two people.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, sure,
Yeah. We're going to have to one day do a review of Once and Always, I guess.
yeah,
Going back to this episode, so then the the Megazord sequence is activated. It's Megazord standing up, and Goldar keeps slashing with his sword, but the Megazord just keeps like punching him around. He's like, "Oh yeah, bah!" Then he pushes him out of the way. Bah! Push him out of the way. You just punch and punch. And I know it's a guy in a suit, but it's still like, bah, bah, bah. It's just
well,
punching the shit out of him.
that's the magic of it, though. It's that as a kid, you didn't know that was a suit.
Yeah.
They could have
Oh,
been doing like frame by frame motion with the toy or something. You never knew.
yeah,
It was just mind blowing to kids, and it still looks good today. It still holds up.
yeah. Then then Goldar gets an actual hit in, and Jason says, "The hell with it! Call the power sword!" Bah! He grabs the power sword. Goldar gets this cut to his face, like, "Oh shit!" And he cuts
You know
out.
what's funny is that they never told.
Shit just got real. He was like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
what's funny is they never told the Power Rangers that the Megazord had a power sword at all. But all of a sudden,
no."
Jason knows how to call it. It's like, oh, it is automatic. It's like connected. Oh, it must have a sword somewhere.
Yeah. Still, when he called that cut that they put, Jason picks up the sword with the little hand because obviously it's a guy and a robot, but he's wearing one glove and one little hand, so he picks
Yeah,
up the sword. That cut to Goldar's face, like, oh man.
and then Gordon runs away. Gordon runs away. It's like, come on, really? Yeah, that was another
Yeah,
quick fight scene too with the Megazord, but I understood it because it was the first episode.
yeah,
But yeah, Gordon runs away, and
yeah.
I
Then
yeah.
then we get back to the Moon Palace and Rita's like, oh, I got such a headache, and Goldar's like, oh, it won't happen again, mistress. Even though none of the mouths match at all.
Yeah.
And then we move back to the command center for the final scene, which is the Rangers getting the big speech from Zordon about the 3 rules about protecting the power. And may the
Yes.
power protect you. You guys want to do it. That's where Kimberly puts in that line that has been repeated a million times. Oh, I don't know if I want to be a Ranger. The helmet hair and that whole thing. And then
Right? Yeah.
they put their hands all in together. And this reminded me of another TV show. You remember Married with Children?
Oh yes, I remember that
You remember
show.
when they used to do the Whoa Bundy? They do the Whoa Bundy, but Whoa Power Rangers. And that's where the
right?
episode. That's where the episode ends, and then we get the closing
Yeah,
credits. And that's
but
episode
again,
one, everybody.
for that episode, it was Saban's first try to bring over something from Japan, and hope to God it didn't flop. And they had a short amount of time to prove to Fox that it would not flop. And I have to say, good job, because just think, if it flopped, we wouldn't have had Power Rangers. Everything would have just been totally different to this day.
This was good from a genre perspective because when Power Rangers came in, let's be honest, they pushed the Ninja Turtles way out of the game. They
Yeah.
came in so hard because before Power Rangers, the Ninja Turtles were the kings because Ninja Turtles had done the same thing to He-Man. So eventually, there's
Yeah.
going to be a bigger guy. There's somebody's going to take your spot. Like in wrestling, somebody wants to take your spot.
Hmm.
Somebody wants to be the main eventer or whatever. Somebody took their spot.
But
Now it's a different game though, because
yeah, because I was gonna say, I don't think there's anything that's ever taken the spot of Power Rangers for the 30 years that Power Rangers have been on. There's nothing been like Power Rangers, as far as I can
there's been
tell.
there's been fads and things like that, like years where one toy is popular, but nothing to permanently push something out of the way like that. Like
Yeah, I
there's
mean,
also. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
still to this day, if you brought out a Power Ranger movie, every Power Ranger fan would go watch it. You bring out a Ninja Turtle movie, people still go watch them because they're fans of it. They might not like me personally, don't like the new one, but you still go see it because it's what it is. It's Turtles, it's Power Rangers. They're still up here. It doesn't matter. If I'm 70 years old, a Turtle movie comes out, I'm gonna go see it because I still love Ninja Turtles. Power Ranger movie comes out or reboot comes out, I'm gonna watch it. If I like it, I'll keep watching it. If I don't like it, well, at least I saw it.
Yeah.
And a lot of fans are that same way, just with anything really, music, movies. It doesn't matter as long as you're a fan of it. You're gonna go see it. Doesn't matter how young, how old you are. And then you're gonna
That's
also do the introducing of, if you have kids. Hey, I used to watch this. What do you think of this? You know, or this is the newer day series of this, and I used to watch this one. We can watch that one later. But what do you think of this?
yeah.
And it just keeps continuing and continuing. So,
Yeah.
but
That's a
again,
very
for
true point.
the time period, it was revolutionary. I mean, I would have to say it's revolutionary for remembering of the Power Rangers morphing for the first time, seeing the Megazord in action, watching it combine with all the little lightning effects, where the legs connect and all that. I thought that was awesome. There's so much that even if I hadn't seen it again, I still remember it from being a kid and how the Megazord works, how the Power Rangers looked, how geeky Billy was as a young kid, and then growing up to being a no glasses, cool looking guy. Um,
Yeah.
there's so much of that show that could be talked about, even from transitioning from Mighty Morphin to Zeo, Zeo to Turbo, Turbo to Space. Uh, it's an endless conversation, but the thing is, it's never gonna die. It's gonna be around forever. It's not dying, even though Disney tried to kill it off once. Hasbro has killed off the toy line for now. I don't think it's actually dead. I'm never gonna say it's dead, but the Hasbro toy line right now is dead. And I hate to say it, but I was making fun of it in this video about the Hasbro toy line.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
truth is, people think it's dead anyways, and I don't believe it's dead. I just don't think they have. I don't think they have the crew, the staff, to actually keep it up more than anything else. I don't think it's because they're ready for a reboot. I just don't think they want to hire anybody that wants to actually design whatever Rangers next. Whatever they want to do.
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, it's interesting that Power Rangers has been around for 30 years because there's people like you and me and a lot of our fans or a lot of the people that watch this stuff that have been with the brand for the 30 years, but not everybody sticks around for the 30 years. Some people come in for their seasons and then they're done. Like There's a lot of people that left after in space. Okay, Zordon's dead. We're done. Yeah, that's it. I don't care.
Right.
Or there's people that have seen just one season and they get the idea, like Lightspeed Rescue. You can watch Lightspeed Rescue, and it's pretty much a standalone. You don't need to watch Jungle Fury and all of these other shows. No, no, Lightspeed, and that's one and done. You don't need to. You watch your 37 episodes or whatever it was, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So
for me, for me personally, I didn't even finish Space originally because I just got busy in life. You know.
yeah,
Again, that's that growing of age. Got this to do, that to do, and it wasn't because I didn't want to watch it. It was just busy. I got busy in life, and then
yeah.
other things happened in life, and I never forgot about the show. It was just all of a sudden one thing or this happened, and I had an idea, and it's like, hey, you know what? We can do this for this and that reason. I started watching the stuff again and realizing, wasn't this based off of something else? And I started looking up Sentai and going, wow, that is a totally different show in general. You know, and I can see
Yeah.
why Saban wanted to bring it over here and why Saban's first attempt did not work because of he probably tried to make it the adult show and not the kids show that they wanted.
Well, I've heard recent. You've probably heard this rumor too, since we're off the episode and we're just a little after show talk now. Uh, I've heard that there's the rumor of having two different shows. One you make for kids and one you make for adults.
I have heard that, yes.
Uh, I mean, I think it's interesting, but here's the thing: which is which? Because you're at a point where right now Power Rangers is a franchise. It's no longer just a fad. It wasn't
Yeah.
like Street Sharks, and I want to do an episode one day comparing Street Sharks to Ninja Turtles, just because it's so much of a bootleg, but it's not at its own because
It was its
I
own thing, yes.
yeah, but it was a fad. Street Sharks did not last 30 years, and it's not to
Street
talk
Sharks
bad
didn't
about
even
Street.
it didn't even last 3 years, I don't think. I think it lasted maybe a year and that was it, if I
Well,
remember right.
they Street Shark. I don't want to get too in the in the woods here, but Street Sharks was about 2 seasons, and then the third season they merged it with Extreme Dinosaurs, and all of this was under the show Deke, the TV
Yes,
show
I remember
Clock
that.
Deke. Yeah, I got the
Yeah.
with Deke was also the producers of the Inspector Gadget cartoon and stuff like that. But,
Yeah.
yeah, going back to the point, 30 years, you could have two different standing projects, ongoing projects, because there's other franchises that are way older that are having like 6 7 shows at the same time. The
Yeah.
Superman. I went to school for film and multimedia. I actually studied Superman, uh, and Superman is literally ingrained in American history. Superman is at least 50 years old, 60 years old.
Exactly.
The
Yeah. Superman, Batman, you got all
Batman,
sorts of ones. Yeah.
yeah. So
Spider Man even. Spider Man. He's been around forever and a day too.
yeah, and these brands and these franchises are big enough to sustain different projects. So you could have, like, for Superman, you could have Lois and Clark, but you could
Hmm.
the TV show, but you could also have the film universe of the extended universe with Henry Cavill. You could have a different TV show called Krypton. You remember that show Krypton that nobody watched,
I don't
but
think I even
it
watched I don't think I
existed.
even watched it, but I
There
remember
was
hearing about
yeah,
it.
but there was also cartoons for Superman.
Yeah.
Superman, so Superman can live. Batman, there's
You
right
remember
now.
Batman you remember Batman Beyond, right? Where
Yeah,
Bruce Wayne was an old man and there was the young guy being Batman. Yeah.
yeah. In like a month and a half, there's gonna be like a sequel to Joker, the Joker 2 with Lady Gaga, and that has nothing to do with the Joker that lives inside of the DC extended universe, the Margot Robbie Joker. It might be a Leto Joker. It might be a different Joker, but it's the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. But it's still like you could have multiple properties and multiple projects. So that's kind of my point.
Now
Uh,
getting back to the Power Rangers though real
yeah,
fast. I have heard another rumor and it would make more sense to the to a point of having the powers passed down to the next generation. I've heard that rumor where the Power Rangers are going to pass down their main powers to the another generation. The only thing I've heard about that was that there might be some problems with the actors, not wanting to come back for
You
it, for
mean
one to suit up before doing it, kind of thing.
you mean Once and Always Part Two?
You can call. I'm not gonna call it that, but pretty much, yeah.
But
Where
that's the rumor I've heard, that they want to do a Part Two, but nothing is. I mean, they're Hasbro is sort of on a give and take right now, where
yeah,
they don't want to
and
shit or get off the pot. Honestly, but so,
I can
you know.
see them doing that. Min's already there. Min had that one movie, and that's it. It's like they have a strong beginning with her. They get passed down the other powers to whatever another kid of theirs or something that no one knows about. What's the Green Ranger and Kimberly? Green Ranger and Cat's kid.
Yeah, uh,
You know what I'm talking about.
JJ, yeah, JJ.
JJ, yeah, because I even brought up JJ in the show in Once and Always.
If you're going by timeline, you'd end up with a Justin issue like from Turbo. You'd have to age him up because Justin, JJ in the show, chronologically would have to be like 7 or 8. He
Well,
couldn't
you
be.
know what they did it with
So I don't think,
Justin. They did it with Justin. Why not? They could do it. As much as I thought it was weird back then, even
unless they just blur the timeline a little bit and just
they
make him like
could.
make him the youngest of them. Like
Yeah, I
like
mean they
he's
could,
barely 15 and everybody else is like 17, 18. That'd be fine.
or
He's
even
barely.
12. He could be 12. Even I don't care. 12. I mean,
Yeah, but as long as he looks all right in the suit, that's kind of for footage sake
yeah.
where you would go with it. I'd like a mix of team. Like I'd like a mixed team. Like okay, here's 3 old guys, here's 3 new guys, or whatever. Here's one from here's Catherine the Pink Ranger, and then here's Adam the Black Ranger, or Zach. I said it in another show too. I think you have to move Billy's character into the Red Ranger,
Well, I
coin.
think I think Billy would be the mentor if they did a number two. Honestly, because it would make more sense. He has the knowledge. He has the ability to make power coins with Alpha,
Okay.
whatever it is now. He has all the knowledge that Zordon has, even though he doesn't believe in himself still, I think.
Well, yeah, there's
you know.
there's threads you can pull at too, like, and if they wanted to, and this is not a hot take. This is just an idea as a writer, as a creator. You could technically say that maybe Jason, the character Jason Lee Scott, the character
Mhm.
is actually the father of Min, and him, Jason and Trini had a kid together, but they couldn't work it out because they lived different lives, so they got separated. And Kim still lived with, I mean, Trini still raised her daughter by herself, and she didn't really know her dad. And that could be another way you can go. If you could get Oscar St. John to come back for part two, then you can be like, oh, that's my estranged father. You've already established there's death in Power Rangers because let's be honest, your audience is older. The Once and Always audience is an older audience.
Oh
So
yeah.
I don't think it would blow their mind if you're adding in lesbian storylines and you're adding in all of these things that are not traditional of the
Yeah,
original
exactly.
thing.
Well,
I'm
they
not
did
taking a
kill.
side. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad idea of having an absentee father as the Red Ranger, and you just give him a powered up suit and explain why he is, an absentee father. Well, I couldn't raise my daughter because I was in Aquitar, helping Billy, or I was in another planet. I was saving the world. I was looking for Zordon. I was busy with finding the remains of the Machine Empire. Whatever you want to do, but you still make the character an absentee father and make that part of the resolution in the part two movie of okay,
He was part of the peace conference.
yeah, but yeah, you can make, bro. There's enough gray area in Power Rangers where this would work. So it's
Yeah,
not like
exactly.
it would be impossible. But
No,
I
it wouldn't be.
last thing I was gonna talk about before we wrap up the show, real quick. I bought this at what do you call it, at Target the other day on clearance, and I'm gonna turn him into a pop version of Toxic Crusader.
Oh,
That's why I'm
nice.
painting him. See, he's not done, but this is just what I'm currently working on. And Yeah, I'm also getting ready for my big anniversary because Mascara Fighters. Not to go so on my stuff, but we're hitting a pretty special, anniversary. 10 years of Mascara Fighters. That's a milestone, and I got a documentary, and we're doing a theatrical release for it, and it's pretty exciting. So there's that, and that's about all I got. What about you, Dave?
I don't really have anything else, but I'm gonna say tonight's. I'm glad I'm doing this tonight because I've been under a lot of stress lately at work, and I needed something to take my mind off of everything. Uh, I had a, I had a, I got a promotion at work that I kind of regret right now. It's a lot of stress on me, and I'm feeling it. So
Yeah,
yeah, I needed something to take my mind off of that for a while. So
yeah,
I'm glad we did this episode, and
yeah.
yeah, thanks for watching, really. And if you're happy to watch us, and I'm glad if you guys do, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I would say hit that notification bell, but it really doesn't matter these days. According to what I've watched about YouTube, half the time the notifications never come out anyway. So just hit the like and subscribe and come back and watch some more information about Power Rangers or Ninja Turtles or, because we have I think we're planning on doing a 2003 Super 7 episode talking about that or just the 2003 Turtles alone,
Well,
you
what
know?
I'm thinking, because I actually have these. I want us to do one episode just reviewing the turtles. I have the toys, so I want us to review the toys.
Okay.
We'll do one episode for the good guy for the Ninja Turtles, just the four turtles and Splinter and April, and then we can do another one for the bad guys, the of the 2003 show. That'd be cool. Just focus on those. I have to film it and send it to you, and we got to mix and it's
I'm,
it's projects coming up. Projects
yeah.
coming up.
And I'm going to just be honest with you and the viewers. I know the Ninja Turtles are the bigger selling point for this podcast. I know Ninja Turtles is something that people really like to hear. I think, I would love just to do a few episodes of Ninja Turtles, everything from the 80s cartoon to even the newer Mutant Mayhem movie and beyond. And
Yeah,
things that are going to be happening because there's a lot of Ninja Turtle news out there, and it's a lot of things are going on, even from the last Ronin and stuff, and
yeah.
it's great.
Did you before we cut out because I know it times
Yeah,
time.
it's getting kind of late. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see the teaser for the Tales of the Turtles, the new
Yes,
one?
yes, I did.
What did you think?
I think it's a great continuation from the movie. I think
Mhm.
they hit it right on the nail. The preview for where everybody's happy to have the turtles as their own little protectors, and them going to school, and them still being pumped up in the sewers for saving New York City from Superfly, whatever the monster was called. I forget. It was Superfly
Yeah, yeah, it
something.
was Superfly.
Uh, yeah, I think the transition's great. I'm curious about the show though. I'm
Yeah,
sure. I think it sounded like there was the same actors doing the voices even, so that's good. Uh,
yeah,
I'm kind of curious about what they're doing with the show because what they showed with the teaser trailer, it looked good. Even with Leonardo in the trash can at the end, I don't know if you noticed that, but he was in the trash can at the end. Um, yeah, I
yeah.
think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a fun show for kids that like the movie. I don't know about for the heavy adult fans like myself that thought it was an okay movie. But I know there was a lot of kids that liked the movie, like the toy line. So we'll see what Nickelodeon can pull out of their heads and see what they can do with it. See if it's popular enough to still go with the second movie. 'Cause I think that's what they're
Yeah.
trying to do is see if people still really want to see the second movie or not. If they're gonna keep following the episodes on Paramount Plus. I don't know if there's anywhere else you can watch but on Paramount Plus, and I think that's to me kind of a bad mistake. They could have put it on Nickelodeon and Paramount Plus. And I think that
Yeah.
would probably been a better shot at people's true because I know there's people that just go, I want Netflix, that's all I'm getting. I don't need Paramount, I don't need HBO, I don't need this and that, I don't need all those. Um, we'll see what happens. I think
Well,
I
there
think they had a
there's
great
res-
teaser trailer though.
there's there's restructuring because now it's called Viacom Global, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Jon Stewart returned to the Daily Show, and he did an interview, and he was talking about, oh, it's called Viacom Global now, and there's restructuring of the company there. So there's
Okay. Okay.
yeah, so there's that. And as far as what I think of the show, it's a wait and see. It looks like they used the exact same animation studio of Rise of the Ninja Turtles, or like it looks like the Rise of the Ninja Turtles show. I saw the trailer for it, and I was like,
Mhm.
I get it. It's a different look, but it's not a different look at the same time. It looks very, very much like the Rise of the Turtles. You know,
It does. I'm just curious about the storyline because I know what they did to the movie, and
I hope it's not the same writing though, because
I'm just not happy with the movie. I'm never
rough
gonna be
times.
happy with that movie. You know, it's just. But at different times,
Yeah,
like you said, it's for a different generation.
yeah, yeah.
But again, there you go. You know, like we were talking about Power Rangers, it's gonna live on forever because of fan base, and and who knows, maybe Seth Rogen make a second movie and it'd be better than the first one. And it does happen every once in a great blue moon, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, and again, I hope they bring out some of the other teaser trailers into a real life movie. Like I've seen one that has the Leonardo that looks like the one from the 1990s movie fighting Foot Clan that's actually robotic instead of being human. And yeah, I've seen all sorts of things that are fan made. It looks amazing. But again, Ninja Turtles, it's gonna live on forever. Power Rangers are gonna live on forever. And maybe not in toy line or movie form, but in
Yeah.
people's minds are gonna remember it. You know, somebody's
Yeah.
gonna walk in a house like Maya has a display, and they'd be like, "Oh, what's that? Oh, that's Power Rangers. You never heard of it?" And then they hear about it, and then they're gonna tell somebody else. You know, and it's just gonna go on. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, everyone. We'll catch you next time.
Yeah, catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Peace
Bye.
out.